How many of you know that if you had your life to live over again, you could do more than what you've done thus far? Raise your hands, please. Now, that proves the point that what we do and what we accomplish in life is only a tip of the iceberg of what's possible for us. So I want you to think about some goals that you'd like to achieve, and I'd like for you to, let's say, break them up in 3 categories. Number 1, I want you to think about some personal goal you'd like to achieve. And I'd like for you to think about some career goal, some business goal that you'd like to achieve. And I want you to think about some social contribution, some impact you'd like to make with your life. It was Horace Mann who said, we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. I believe we live in the greatest country in the world that gives us an opportunity to leave our mark, to make a statement with our lives. And as you think about these goals, whatever those goals are, I want you to dramatically increase those goals. And I want to warn you, I don't want you to think about how you're going to do it. How is none of your business. The most important thing is just to increase those goals dramatically. I've found that most people fail in life, not because they aim too high and miss. Most people fail in life because they aim too low and hit. And many don't aim at all. So raise the bar on yourself and don't ask how you're going to do it. I'll never forget when I decided that I wanted to become a motivational speaker. I saw the late Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, and my heart said, I can do that. But my mind asked the question, how? And for over 14 years, I would go see Zig Ziglar and Dr. Norman Vincent Peale and Jim Rohn and different speakers, and I would be in the audience, and my heart would pounce and say, you can do that, Les. And then when I would leave, I would be going to the parking lot, and my mind said, how are you going to do it? And I spent so many years trying to figure out how. I wasted 14 years. How many of you ever procrastinated? Raise your hands, please. Yeah, see, so as you begin to think about your goals, the most important thing is, and write this down, commit yourself. See, once you commit yourself, the how will come, the way will come. Once you commit yourself, you will then figure it out. And if you're going in the wrong direction, all you have to do is turn around and go in the other direction. You will figure it out. You want to begin to just challenge yourself. You want to stretch yourself because you really don't know what you can't do. I'll never forget the first day that I met Mr. Washington. I was born in a poor section of Miami, Florida called Liberty City. I was born in an abandoned building on a floor with a twin brother. And when we were 6 weeks of age, we were adopted. And when I was in the 5th grade, I was identified as EMR, labeled educable, mentally retarded, put back from the 5th grade into the 4th grade. And I failed again when I was in the 8th grade. I don't have any college education, but because of my mother, and I feel like Abraham Lincoln, who said, all that I am and all that I ever hope to be, I owe to my mother. I saw a sign once that said that God took me from my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. So my first major goal was to buy my mother a home, to take care of my mother. And I did that, took care of her until she passed at 88. But I'll never forget when I met Mr. Washington. I was in a class waiting on another student, and he came in and he said, young man, go to the board and work this problem out for us. I said, oh, sir, I can't do that. He said, why? I said, I'm not one of your students. He said, look at me. I said, yes, sir. Go to the board and work the problem out anyhow. I said, sir, I can't do what you're asking me to do. He said, why? Sir, because I'm educable mentally retarded, sir. And as the students erupted in laughter, he came from behind his desk, he looked at me and he said, don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And that was a turning point in my life. On one hand, I was humiliated. But on the other hand, I was liberated. Because he looked at me with the eyes of Goethe, who said, look at a man the way that he is. He only becomes worse. But look at him as if he were what he could be. Then he becomes what he should be. And so Mr. Washington, he challenged me. And I want to challenge you right now about raising your goals, and I want you to shake someone's hand on your right and left, look them in the eyes and say, stretch yourself. Yeah, see, I think that you really have to stretch yourself to discover your stuff. I think that we have to really begin to experiment with life. Not say that you have something special. I didn't say that just to be kind and courteous. You do. See, I think that there are not many people that come to seminars or workshops or will watch a program of this nature. Why? I just think that most people are just satisfied to where they are. I'm reminded of a man one day. He was walking down the street and he passed his porch where some people were on the porch talking, and there was a dog moaning and groaning. And he was curious why the dog was moaning and groaning. And he went back and he said, excuse me, he asked the owner, why is the dog moaning and groaning? The guy said, because he's laying on a nail. He said, well, why won't he get off? He said, it's not hurting bad enough for him to get off. Just hurting bad enough to moan and groan. How many of you know people who should be here? Raise your hands, please. How many of you know people, all they do is moan and groan? Moan and groan. I'm not making enough money. Moan and groan. I'm unhappy with my job. 87% of people go to jobs that they hate. And in addition to that, you know, as we know that we have the dubious distinction in this country that on Monday morning, the heart attack rate increases over 35%. On Monday morning between 6 o'clock and 9, people going to jobs that they hate. The heart said, didn't I tell you I didn't want to go? And attack them. Some of you don't want to go to work next Monday. So the thing is this, so you want to find out what resonates with you. What is it you really want to do? You want to experiment with life and find out what fits for you. You have something special. You have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. See, I believe that anybody through observation and practice can perform at the level of excellence. But when you're pursuing your greatness, and this is worth writing down, you don't know what your limits are, and you act like you don't have any. So I say to you, you have something special. You have greatness within you. And I want to make 4 things clear. Number 1, everything that I'm going to say, you already know it. If what I share, the message that I'm going to express right now and share with you, if it wasn't a part of who you are already, you wouldn't be in the audience. That's number 1. That's very important. It's already in you. I'm going to only confirm and validate that which is a part of you anyhow. The second thing is everything I'm going to say to you, you've heard it before from people who had college degrees and credentials I can't hold a candle to. It's common sense, but not common practice. Third thing is I don't want you to agree with me, and I don't want you to believe me. I just want you to be open to some things right now. I want you to think beyond that which is commonly allowed. And I'm going to tell you what I'm up to. I want you to think about your goals, and I want to tell you what I'm going to do right now. My whole goal is to get past your mind. That's my whole challenge, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm going to do that. See, your assignment was to show up. My assignment is to get past your mind and get into your heart. I want you to think about the goals that you want to achieve. And I really want to challenge you to make up your mind that you're going to make that happen for yourself. And I hope that it's some goal that really resonates with who you are. When I was a little boy, my goal was to just buy groceries for our family. My mother worked on Miami Beach. She was a domestic worker. And my goal was to really be able to go to the grocery store and purchase groceries ourselves. The families knew that my mother had adopted 7 children. And so they said, Mamie, whatever food is left over after we eat, you can take that home to the children. They were very kind, very, very considerate people. My mother, who when she worked on Miami Beach, the people were very kind. I was appreciative of their generosity. But as a little boy, I said, Mama, one day, when I become a big boy, I'm going to be able to provide groceries for us. My goal as a little boy was to buy clothes for my brothers and sisters. We wore the hand-me-down clothes of the children that Mama babysat for when she went over in Miami Beach. And if the clothes were too small, she would let them out. And if they were too large, Mama could sew and take them up. And I'll never forget David Sidursky. His father was very wealthy. Mama worked for him, but David was my buddy. And so his father gave him 2 gifts for his birthday. Gave him a brand new boat, but he also gave him some motivational tapes. Earl Nightingale, I'll never forget. So he said, David, man, let me tell you something. When I die, you're going to get everything. I want you to listen to these tapes. And when his father left the room, David threw those tapes in the wastebasket. I said, David, can I have those tapes? He said, yes. I said, man, your father said, if you listen to these, you can get more and do more than what he's done. He said, look, I don't get everything anyhow. Go ahead, take them. I told my children, I'm not leaving them anything. You know, if I had a quarter and thought I was going to die, I'll swallow it. Write this down. It's not what you leave for your children, it's what you leave in them. Not what you leave for them, what you leave in them. No, absolutely not. I'll tell you something else happened. I'll never forget. Mama came home one day and said, Leslie, David sent you a new pair of shoes his father got for him. I said, oh, Mama, thank you so much. I can't wear David's shoes. I said, why? Well, you tell my buddy that, I wear size 9.5. He wears size 9. She said, boy, shut up, sit down, and put those shoes on. She said, Marianne, go get some Vaseline. And she came in there, and my sister started rubbing the Vaseline on my feet. And she said, run some water in the bathtub. And she's now go in there and put your feet in those shoes and don't mash the heel down. I said, Mama, shut up, boy, don't mash the heel down. And then she had me to get in the bathtub. I said, Mama, these shoes hurt. She said, get in there and walk around in the water. And I'm walking around the bathtub. Then she tried to distract me. I knew what she was doing. How'd you do at school today? I did good. Did you get in any fights? No, ma'am. You know you fought somebody. Well, I only hit 3 people today. and then after a while, she said, how you doing? I said, well, they hurt. Do they hurt as bad as they were before? No, ma'am, they feel a little bit better. Keep on walking, keep on walking. And then after a while, when the leather soaked up the water, the leather began to stretch to a perfect 9.5. You think Fortune 500 companies started talking about doing more with less? My mother been doing that for a long time. It's amazing what you can do. But who would have thought, anybody looking in on this kid and these 7 children, who would have thought? And I look at you, I say, you have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. No one could have convinced me that I would be doing what I'm doing right now. The easiest thing I do every year is go into a sales organization and dramatically increase their sales, or go into a prison and enable prisoners to see themselves differently and teach them the methods and techniques of how to plug into the system, or motivate young people to begin to see how they can have a vision of themselves in the future and fit. That's the easiest thing I do, or train a speaker to help them to leverage their experience as a speaker and say, look, speaking is a projection of who you are, not who you think you ought to be, and come with power from a platform. That's the easiest thing I've ever done. Let me share with you the most difficult thing I've ever done. The most difficult thing I've ever done was to believe that I can do what I'm now doing. No one could have convinced me, just given my circumstances. I earn millions of dollars every year. No one could have convinced me. If both my parents came up here right now, I would not know either one. No one could have convinced me, being labeled educable, mentally retarded, born in an abandoned building on the floor in Liberty City, poor section of Miami, Florida, failing twice in school, no college training, never worked for a major corporation. I did not know I can do what I'm doing right now. I'll never forget Mike Williams, my mentor. I think a lot of people fail in life because of the fact that they need some mentoring, they need some coaching. Repeat out to me, please. You need some coaching. Yeah, see, you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. I remember Mike saying, Les, you can do this. Mike, how, man? Wait a minute, Mike. How much am I going to be able to charge, Mike? Les, you could start out at $1,000 an hour. Mike, I don't make that working for 2 weeks. Come on, Mike. Man, I appreciate your belief in me, Mike. Look, Mike, I work for the Miami Sanitation Department, man. I've been a garbage collector. I've done door-to-door sales. That was great, and I'm here as a disc jockey. That's good, Mike, but Mike, I don't think I can do that. Les, you can. But Mike, I don't have any credentials. I've never written any book, anything, man. I'm not rich. How can I teach somebody to do something I've never done? But Les, why don't you just test yourself? Why don't you stretch, Les? Come on, man. Mike, I don't know. And here's something I realized. Write this down. Sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in. I respect Mike Williams. Here, this young man, he saw something in me that I didn't see it in strong analytical mind. And I looked at him. I always respected his thinking. And he looked at me and he made me feel special. And I said, okay, Mike. And I just kept holding on to what Mike said to me. I just kept holding on to what Mr. Washington said to me. I kept holding on to my mother saying, you're special, Leslie, when they said you're educable, mentally retarded. Mama didn't know what that meant. She only had a third-grade education. So she said, he'll be all right, honey. A hard head make a soft behind. He'll be fine. But she said, you're special, baby. You are special. And they kept saying that over and over again. Faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. And so here's what I want you to do. Let us say together, as you think about your goals and your dream, let us say together, it's possible. Together, please. Say it like you mean it. Thank you. Write that down. See, most people never achieve their goals because most people suffer from possibility blindness. They look around trying to think about the things that they don't have. Robert Roots, a young man who wrote a book about success principles of the Three Little Pigs. He said, it's not what you don't have, it's what you think you need that keeps you from being successful or happy in life. It's not what you don't have. See, I was focused on what I didn't have. Don't have a college degree, don't have any credentials, never worked for a major corporation. I was focused on the negative things and said, negative things are the things that you see when you're not focused on your goal. What do you come with? What is it that you have within you that you showed up to bring? Hey, Les, you don't know, but my dream is a long shot. A friend of mine, Dexter Yeager, said when the dream is big enough, the odds don't matter. I'm reminded of a great man. When I was reading Time magazine talking about some of the great minds of the last century, they didn't mention his name, Dr. Howard Thurman, one of the mentors of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and also an advisor to Mahatma Gandhi and Albert Schweitzer. And he said, the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members standing around their bed praying with them as they cross over. But imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the dreams given to you by life, the ideas that you never acted on, the talents, the gifts, the abilities that you never used. And there they are, standing around your bed, looking at you with large, angry eyes, saying, we came to you, and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died this very moment, what will die with you? What dreams? What ideas? What talents? What leadership potential? What greatness that you showed up to bring? That you allowed fear or procrastination to hold you back? Perhaps that's why Henry David Thoreau wrote the words, oh God, to reach the point of death, only to realize that you've never lived, only to realize that you've never scraped the surface of your potential. Repeat after me, please, with power, feeling, and conviction. I refuse to die an unlived life. Yes, shake someone's hand on your right and left and say, live your dream. Yeah, I think we should all resolve. I refuse to die an unlived life. Don't worry about the odds. You survived 1 out of 40 million sperms. You will never have those odds again. You beat those odds, you can win anything. Here's something else stop most people. You know what it is? Failure. Let us say together, I will fail my way to success. Yes, write that down. I will fail my way to success. See, 8 out of 10 millionaires have been financially bankrupt. 85% of people allow their fear of failure to outweigh their desire to succeed. And I believe that the reason that most people go so far in life, and stop, Maya Angelou said it best. She wrote a poem. She said that most people go so far in life and then they park. They pull off the highway of life. Especially when they get some hits, especially when they've been rejected, especially if they have an illness, especially if they lose something, they park. And I take it further. They don't even turn on their emergency lights. It's not because that they are broken down. They don't want anybody to stop and say, hey, look here, I've got some jumping cables in my trunk. You need a jump? Hey, look here. There's a service station ahead about 3 or 4 miles. I have a can. I can take you up there and get some gasoline. Oh, no. I'm just fine. I had a talk show once, and highest rated, fastest canceled talk show in the history of television. Well, at least I had one. And I was excited. You know, when time I came into television years ago, television was based upon conflict and controversy. So I said, I want a solution-oriented talk show. First concept of that kind. High ratings. And the syndicators said, you just got lucky. Come on, let's do these other type of shows. You can be a Jerry Springer. Oh, no, that's not why I came here. No, I believe that we live in the greatest country in the world where we should hold ourselves to certain standards. I'm not going to come here and sell out on who I am. I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to lower my standards for you. No, that's not why I showed up. And so they fired me. Security walked him out. I said, I can walk by myself. But let me tell you what happened. I took a hit and I parked. It wasn't that I didn't have the ability to do more. My concept was good. But what happened when I took the hit, when they canceled the show, I canceled myself. When they said the show is going to be taken off television, it won't work, I told myself, Les, you can't succeed in television. And I parked. You know what I did? I went back to my comfort zone. As a motivational speaker, at least I'm doing better than most people. That's nothing to compare yourself to worse that other people are doing and then make yourself feel better. No, I parked. I didn't have my emergency lights on. I didn't want to show up on the radar. I parked. You know how long I parked? I parked for 10 years. Do you hear me? Now, unlike Regis Philbin, when his shows were canceled, he kept going. He kept going. He kept going. And he got other shows. I bet you somebody gave him a push. Somebody said, hey, you need a lift. I didn't even make that an option for me. I got off the highway, I went back to my comfort zone, and I parked. The show failed, and I identified myself as a failure. And guess something happened. One day, just flipping the channels, looking at PBS, and saw Wayne Dyer, my friend Wayne Dyer. And I said, wait, we're both in our 60s. Wayne is still doing it. Wow, the little hair he has, it's gray, he's still there. I said, hey, I've got some more stuff in me. I've got another PBS special in me. I've got some other ideas. You know, Oprah and Phil, they're doing my stuff. Maybe I need to come back out here. And I went back and started calling PBS and different people. They said, Les, what happened to you? I said, well, I didn't know whether or not anybody would be interested in me because the show was canceled. No, you had some good ideas. And when they said, yeah, we'd love to do a show with you, I said, you would? They said, yes. And when I went into the studio and people that worked with 10 years ago, they were still there. And I said, you guys, you know, do you guys still have it? They said, we have it. Do you have it? I said, I think so. And I did the show, and I wasn't as good as I was 10 years ago because I was off the highway. I'd gotten off the highway of life. I'd been parked for so long. It's taking me some time to get my strength back, to find my power, to get my confidence back. But at least I'm back out there in the game, determined to dry empty. So I say to you, see, I only attract millionaires or millionaires in training. Just gonna get that in a minute. You have something special. You have greatness within you. And the only reason you're here, you are my assignment. You can feel me. Some of you feel me right here in your heart of hearts. And my goal is to get past your mind and into your heart. So it's necessary that you have the mindset that I can do this. You've got to begin to believe and to fortify that belief and feed that belief by listening to tapes, going to seminars and workshops, by challenging yourself, by stretching yourself. It was Osborne who said, unless you attempt to do something beyond that which you've already mastered, you will never grow. And as you begin to challenge yourself, you'll discover some things about yourself that you don't know right now. The other thing is you begin to look at yourself, look at your dreams, and begin to experiment and stepping into your greatness. One of the things that's very important, whatever goals and dreams that you have, repeat after me, please. Make your move before you're ready. You had Price Pritchett, who's a great motivator and trainer, said, make your move before you're ready. We're instructed in life to walk by faith and not by sight. See, you want to really begin to stretch yourself. You want to become a risk taker. You want to raise the bar on yourself. Most people won't do that. See, most people engage in low life living, low risk living. Viscott said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? I like what Helen Keller said, life is short and unpredictable. Eat the dessert first. And so you want to begin to take some chances. You want to begin to challenge yourself and make it okay to fail and learn from your failures. Don't allow fear of failure and the allure, the attractiveness of playing it safe in life to draw you in. You can't get out of life alive. You got to die to leave here.
I want to share some thoughts with you. Have you ever had moments of breakthroughs that you said, you know what? I need to share this. And I want you to like this page and share it. For some reason, I don't know why, but things have been dropping into my spirit that just accessing parts of myself for some time, that because of the busyness of life, and I allowed it to get in, that I couldn't hear my voice, that voice in my heart. And I think that I was listening to too many voices and caught up in other folks' stuff. Can you feel me up in here, as young folks say, can you feel me? And so I've been intentionally putting distance between me and the majority of people, including family, just to get still and to think and to hear myself think. Because sometimes you can get so caught up in other people's stuff, you neglect your stuff. And so I want to share something with you. And my message is not for everybody. My message is just for a few people, not for large numbers of people. Large numbers of people, even though they can benefit from what I say, but I'm not their guy. They're not my tribe. I'm talking to the people who can hear me and can understand me and can relate to me and connect with me and identify with me because of my approach. My approach is different. I'm listening to a lot of these entertainers and athletes, and there's so many people out here that just can't speak without foul language. There's no filter between their brains and their mouth. And I just can't open my mind to that. A guy wanted me to put together, and when I started looking at it, within 1 minute, I had to stop. And I called him, I said, man, I can't listen to your stuff. He said, why not? I said, the language is too filthy. I don't want to give up territory in my mind for that. There's some stuff you just got to guard your mind and your heart, that you don't need it in your system. It matters. The words that are spoken to you and the words that you speak and the things that you listen to. You think it's any accident? When you look at young people today and their propensity for vulgar language and violent behavior, you think that's an accident? No, absolutely not. So this is for the few, and I want you to like this page and share it. If you know anybody who's heard my voice and they got some value of what I shared, please. And so I want to share some thoughts with you, and they're not going to be long. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about something that's very important to you, something that you'd like to do with your life, something that you would like to accomplish. and that gives your life a sense of meaning and purpose. I want you to think about that right now. I want to share with you, this is my mother, Mamie Brown. And so she took my brothers and sisters and I in as foster kids, and then eventually she adopted us. My brother and I, my twin brother, we were conceived in Gainesville, Georgia. Our birth mother was Dorothy Rucker and Doc Oliver Randolph. And so she came down to Liberty City in Miami to give birth to us and put us up foster care. And so my goal and vision was, that gave my life a sense of meaning and purpose, was I told Mama, what is it, Leslie? When I become a man, I'm gonna buy you a home. As you think about your goals and dreams, I want you to write this down. You don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are. I was talking to a friend of mine, single mother of 2, and she has 4 different jobs. Spent the majority of her time in her life investing in herself, developing herself, and positioning herself to be able to take care of her children and to live a larger life to provide for them and herself. And it's important that you have some purpose with your life, as mine was in buying my mother a home, but I want you to write this down. Sacrifice. That when Mamie Brown, my adopted mother, always say when I speak, God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. That was a sacrifice for her. Her life changed. At 46, she took in 7 kids that she didn't give birth to. And Mama was attractive. Mama had the ability to sing. She had all types of talents. But when she said to Mr. Moss, our godfather, yes, I'll take him, because our birth mother, thank God, Dorothy Bell Rucker, didn't want Wesley and I separated, and nobody wanted to adopt twins. But Mamie Brown said, I'll take both of them. And her life changed. I remember Mr. Moss said when he was driving Mama back from Liberty City to Overtown in Miami, and she was looking at the 2 of us, and tears of gratitude rolling down her cheeks, as she was so thankful that she now for the first time had children in her life, that she could share life with kids. She never had any children herself, and she always wanted a child, and she told everybody. And then when our birth mother, Dorothy Bell Rucker and Oliver Randolph, they wouldn't receive them at Jackson Memorial Hospital. I'm 79, so at that time, Jackson Memorial Hospital was not receiving colored people or Negroes. And so they went in an abandoned building, and she gave birth to us on a floor, but she went into labor. And so my mother, Mamie Brown, her life changed. When you have a goal and dream, something you've set your sight on that you want to achieve, trust me, you got to ask yourself, what are you willing to give up? When I wanted to speak, when I decided I was going to buy Mama a home, and I decided that this is the area that I wanted to plant my feet, and something that gave my heart and my spirit and my soul a joy that passeth all human understanding. I love communication, and so I became a disc jockey, and I used to be involved in sales. I was a salesman at Sears in the men's department. But communication, I love working with people and interacting with people. I had a training seminar here in Atlanta, and this past weekend I said, there's one thing to do a Zoom, but when you're in the room with me, when I get up in your face, let me tell you something, up in here. It was riveting and powerful. Once you think about something that you love so much, you do it for nothing, but you do it so well that people will pay you to do it. I just talked to someone this morning, and I said, I decline to have you as a client. And so she said, why? I said, I want to work with people that this is who they are. You want to dabble in this place. I want to work with people who have who have the mindset that they got to work, that they have got to do. There's something that's in them, that they've got to do it. And there's a work that them not doing it is not an option. I have got to speak. This is what I do. And so this is who I want to work with, those kinds of people. And so I want you to think about that work that you have got to do, that feeds your soul and spirit. 80% of people are going to jobs that they hate. When Friday comes, they say, thank God it's Friday. I want you to think about something that you can do 7 days a week. It's you, and you never go to work a day in your life because it resonates with your heart and your spirit and your soul. Now here's something else. Listen to me clearly. And this is not going to be easy. You got to come out from among the people that you're around right now. When you have goals and dreams and you're around people that don't have goals and dreams, it rubs off on you. It rubs off. It affects you. One goose can fly 75% further in formation with other geese than it can ever fly by itself. I'm creating something called the Live Your Greatest Life community. A place where people, everyday people, with the mindset of goals and dreams and something they want to do with their lives. I saw these guys, you've seen those groups, you've seen on the internet where people get on, groups of guys get on one side and sometimes women participate and they crack on each other and talk about each other's mother or just all type of stuff like that. I said, wow. I said, what if we did something like that where people are talking about their goals and their dreams and we're encouraging each other. We're bringing out the best in each other. And so I don't criticize people who do that, but I said, I'm watching them. I want them to watch me. That evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. And so my goal is to be accessible and build a community with like-minded people who have goals and dreams, people who love the power presentation, people who would love to learn how to tell their story, people who want to make a difference, people who like the positive energy that brings out the best in them. Those are types of communities that I want to be in and that I'm going to create and do it nationally as well as locally and around the globe. And so when I look at my life and people ask, how did you get there? How did you go from your twin brother and you eating sugar cane and raised in poverty in the segregated South, very oppressive culture that's designed to destroy your sense of self and dismiss you and demean you and demonize you? How did you go from that to speaking to people around the world? One of the first things is I had to become aware of who I was and what I wanted and the must-haves. There are a lot of people that are happy and satisfied with where their life is. But I didn't like where I was and I wanted more. And I was willing to make the sacrifice, to do the work, to invest in myself, to do whatever was necessary in order for me to become the kind of person that I could achieve my goals. Because at the end of the day, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. And there's truly no competition. Bob Proctor, God bless his soul, he said that most people are where they are now because they're ignorant. I said, whoa, that's harsh, but it's real. That they're not willing to learn, they're not to upgrade their ability to learn new things. At this stage of my life, I'm learning something new every day. Today, I'm focusing on how to post. Why, Les? You're 79. I know. And if you don't use it, you lose it. This is my anti-dementia program, my anti-Alzheimer's program, my anti-assisted living program, my anti-nursing home program, my anti-caregiver program. I care for myself. I can do for myself. And so I'm challenging myself. I still have not done my best work. I've got friends who are younger than me and they're already through. But that's not me. That's none of my business. I met this man who changed my life, Leroy Washington. You know, it's interesting. I was thinking about this morning. He has 2 sons and 2 daughters. They never saw the man that I saw. He was a speech and drama teacher at Booker T. Washington High School in Miami. They never saw him. Isn't that interesting? They never saw. He impacted my life. He was more of a father to me, and I got more from him than the children that he brought into this world because they never saw him. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone and it started going south because they never saw you? They thought that you were someone else. They underestimated who you were. And so they never saw it. I remember one time being in a restaurant on 7th Avenue and 62nd Street in Miami, and one of his sons had a waitress to come to the table and said, your son is outside, he'd like to talk to you. And he went outside to talk to his son. When he came back in, and I asked him, I said, hi. What was going on? Is it an emergency? He said, no. He wanted to borrow $15. And this man who was the father that I never had, this man who did not know I adopted him as my spiritual father, I was sitting there having lunch with him, talking about the impact that he made on my life, watching him just signed a contract for $5 million. His son outside calling him to come outside to borrow $15 from him. He never knew who his father was to this day. And there are people around you who don't know you, who don't see you. They have this antiquated old history about you, and that person that they know, that person's gone, they're died. There are people who see me and say, whoa, Les, I can't believe it's you. Yeah, I understand, because the person that you once knew, he doesn't live here anymore. And there are people that you've been in relationship with or used to kick it with or party with, and they see you or you see them and they're totally different. I remember saying to Mike Williams, there's a book I encourage you to get called The Road to Your Best Stuff. I wrote the foreword for it. My mentor, Mike Williams, he saw this Les Brown before I saw him, The Road to Your Best Stuff. He said, Brownie, if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. He said, all of us are born the same way, dumb, naked, and speechless. Don't be intimidated because of these guys who have PhDs and MBAs or more money than you. Don't worry about that. It's not what you don't have, it's what you think you need that keeps you from becoming successful. You think you need 4-color brochures. You think you need investors. No, what you need is the belief in you. You are the money. You've got to believe in you, Brownie. And he was right. From that day when I accepted that I could do this, the easiest thing I've done is to earn millions of dollars doing what I love to do. The most difficult thing that I've ever done that took years for me to do was to believe that I could do it. That me, Les Brown, Mamie Brown's baby boy, that I have the ability to do it. Speaking over 51 countries. And I don't say this to impress you, but to impress upon you what's in you. Speaking before 80,000 people and being able to hold that audience. I don't say this to impress you, but to impress upon you that there's some stuff in you, there's abilities and talents in you that when you stretch yourself, when you're willing to reach forward, when you are ready to go to that next level because you got to that point within yourself where you said, looking around where you are, I've had it. I've had it. I'm not going out like this. No. And some of you are there right now that you know there's more. You know it. You can feel in your heart of hearts. You know it. And you're ready for the breakthrough. Let us say together, it's my time. It's my winning season. Let's say it together please, with power, feeling, and conviction. It's my winning season. It's my time. I'm ready to live a bigger life. Yes, it's your time. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be established unto you. It's your time. It's your winning season. It's time for your breakthrough. Things are going to happen for you because you got it like that. Let us say together, it's possible. It's necessary. It's me. It's hard. It's worth it. A friend of mine, he was going across Europe, sleep on a train at different points. Soldiers would board the train and ask, who are you? Where have you been? And where are you going? Those three questions. And so I ask you, who are you? God asked Adam, Adam, where are you and who are you? Where are you in your life? When you look in the mirror, do you see the person you thought you would be at this point in your life? Where have you been? What brought you here? Why did you show up? Same information, same marketing. With some entertainers, you have people around the block. But you didn't come here to be entertained. You came here to be reminded of what you already know. So, where are you going? I want you to think about that. And wherever you're going, I want you to see it in your mind's eye, complete it, see it. See it. See it in your mind's eye. Give you all your eyes can see. See it accomplished. And experience what it's like. And say, thanks. If you're facing a challenge, see yourself on the other side and say, I got through it, thank you. I'm still here, thank you. I got my right mind, thank you. I got heart, I got spirit, thank you. I'm still standing. See it. And Nietzsche said, if you know the why for living, you can endure almost anyhow. What drives you? What keeps you going? Lewis Howe asked me the question, what's your reason? I have some new reasons. Mama has since made her transition. I want to make mother proud. I've got children. I got grandchildren. I got 4 great-grandsons. I want to make a mark. I want to make a difference. My daughter, Ona, called me one day and she said, Daddy, what are you doing? I said, I'm at my desk. She said, oh, there's a police officer in the middle of the road and traffic stopped and they're waiting for a funeral to come by. Then all of a sudden she said, whoa, wow. I said, what's wrong? She said, oh my God. I said, was there an accident? She said, no. A hearse came by and there was only one car behind it. She said, when I go, I want there to be a long procession of cars. When I go, I want, because of the impact I made on people's lives, that the cemetery would be packed with people to celebrate that I came this way. How many of you would like to have a greater impact? Raise your hands, please. Yes. And so let us say together, live full, die empty. One night when I was comforting myself, I had 238 radiation seed implants. And my PSA, which stands for prostate specific antigen, had risen to 2,400. And cancer
they said it metastasized to 7 areas of my body. And I was reading Dr. Howard Thurman, who wrote Deep is the Hunger, the voice of the genuine, the centering moment. He said the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. He said, but imagine, if you will, being around your deathbed, people, ghosts, looking at you, saying, we came to you, and only you could have given us life, and now we must die with you forever. Miles Monroe, great preacher out of Bahamas, said the wealthiest place on the planet is not in the Far East where there's oil in the ground. It's not Africa where the diamond mines. He said the wealthiest place on the planet is a cemetery. Books that were never written, potential never realized, gifts, talents, skills, art, music the world never heard. Repeat after me, please. Live full. Die empty. See, the question becomes, if you died today, what dreams, what inventions, what ideas? Help me with a microphone, please. Come on, this is not an ever-ready battery. It's tired. Help a brother out up in here, up in here. Thank you, sir.
Anything for you.
Thank you, Grasshopper. Y'all remember Kung Fu? Y'all got that Grasshopper? Oh, that's all right. The millenniums, they don't know about that. That was when television was television. You understand what I'm talking about? All right.